In this video, I will explain a different concept for quality development, which I identified as a 3D model for quality development in achieving excellence. In my first video, I have explained that quality means carrying out everything correctly the first time and every time. In order to do that, we need to ensure that in our organization setup, we have certain activities performed in the proper manner. What are those activities? Those activities are quality control, quality assurance, and quality management. These three we have to function in an integrated manner. So let's first understand what do you mean by quality control. When we are conducting an organization activities, we can't do those activities without having the supplier support. Suppliers are supplying items. Once the items are received to the organization, we need to ensure that those items are up to the standard, up to the quality as expected by the company. In order to do that, we need to develop a purchasing manual, a specification for raw materials, each and every specification, each and every raw material, we need to develop a specification. So once the consignments are received or raw materials are received, then we can check those raw materials against those specifications. In order to do that, we have to take samples. We can't take the whole consignment. So we need to take a sample and test it. Therefore, we need to have sampling plans at our end. So those preparation of sampling plans, doing incoming inspections by taking samples and testing sometimes are called as quality control activities when we look at the supplier side. But once we start at the production, it is also important we need to ensure that production activities are carried out in a proper manner to meet the expected requirements at the final end. In order to do that, we have to check in critical points various activities, like for example sometimes maybe pH depending on the type of the product, sometimes maybe the thickness of the wire depending on the type of the product. Like that, in process controls we have to carry out. In order to do these in process controls, we need to identify what are the again process specifications, and then we have to prepare a template to record it. Those also we identified as process related inspections and controls. It is also part of the quality control activities. Once the product is finalized, then from the final product, again we have to take a sample and test it, or we have to visually inspect and see whether the product is in compliance. In many cases, most of the organizations are doing that. That is also part of the quality control activities. Once we do these quality control activities, what we can say is our production flow is built up with the quality foundation. For that, we require quality control. Now the question is whether quality control is sufficient. That is the answer we need to find out. In order to do that, we have to look at an organization. When we look at an organization has people. They are the parties who are implementing various activities. Because of their attitudes, their way of carrying out various tasks, sometimes the mistakes can take place. Therefore, my explanation of quality, everything is done correctly the first time may become sometimes a problem, or every time may become sometimes a problem. In order to avoid that, we have to further enrich the quality control activities to a quality assurance area. What we are doing is, the sampling plans which we have identified in the quality control area, we standardize it. We write it as a procedure. We write it as a guideline. And for people, we tell them when it comes to process control activities, which is part of the quality control, we tell the people, take samples hourly basis and check it. That we write it as a work instruction. Or we then sometimes write a procedure for equipments which are required to be calibrated if we are doing any measuring activities as measuring of various product in process related items. For example, thickness of a particular product, that is part of the quality control. But that we need to ensure that the equipments are calibrated. Then we write a procedure for calibration of equipments. When a non-conforming product comes or when a corrective action is required, then we write a procedure how to take the corrective action, how to handle the non-conforming product. Those we identified as quality assurance activities. Now we can see that very clearly from quality control we have gone to quality assurance. So without quality assurance, we can't standardize the activities of the organization to avoid various issues. Because of the nature of the work of the factory is very, very busy, where people and materials, machine, methods and maintenance like those activities are taking place in the organization. In order to further enrich this, we have to further enhance our approach by improving these activities. For that we need to go to quality management. What do you mean by quality management? Where we go up to the top level, where the top people commitment for developing a quality culture within the organization, we emphasize. In that regard, what will happen is, at the very top level, they will decide or they will develop a path for quality improvement, a journey towards excellence by developing a quality policy statement. And that is statement where they indicate what is their approach, what they wanted to be as far as quality is concerned, and why it is important, and communicate it in cascading form down the line to the employees. As a result, people get a message, quality in this organization is very important. So that quality policy then we consider in our strategic plan which we are going to drive the organization to achieve excellence. In driving the organization to achieve excellence, various inputs we take from quality policy and then develop goals and objectives and actions and ask people to practice it within the organization. As a result, what will happen? The overall organization will become a quality organization where people are focusing towards improving quality. So that part where the quality policy development and where the action plans, where the objectives which are developed and down the line cascading for employees to get their contribution, and also their responsibilities, what they have to do, what are their authorities, we write down in the quality organization, which are called quality management activities. Therefore, we can see that from quality assurance, in order to implement a procedure, we can't implement it. Who is the person we have to identify? Who has the responsibility? Who has the authority? Which is covered under quality management. We have to write a quality policy statement. We need to develop objectives. We need to develop targets. We need to develop action plans, and has to be communicated, which is part of the quality management. Therefore, in an organization, if the organization is vicious to achieve excellence, all these three D's, three Q's have to be implemented properly within the organization in an integrated manner, so that the organization can achieve the excellence results. That is what our 3D model, which we call as quality assurance, quality control, quality assurance and quality management.